Hello and welcome to this 45-minute Yin Yoga session. My name is Eliza and I'll be guiding you through this session today. So, first of all, what you're going to need for today, if you have some blocks at home, I'd highly recommend grabbing your blocks. If you don't have blocks, books work really well, kind of encyclopedia style books or Tupperwares, but it has to be something that's really going to be able to hold your weight. So that's why I say books or the Tupperwares with the lids on that tends to hold your weight quite well. So you can grab 2 of those and then a bolster if you have a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, I find that bed pillows work really well. So grab at least 2 of your standard kind of rectangular bed pillows that you sleep with. And lastly, you might as well just bring your whole bed, right? Just bring a blanket. So this might be helpful for you in a few of the poses. So yes, have everything around your mat, everything within arm's reach that is going to be there for you to support your practice. Traditionally, Yin Yoga is done with the help of props, and the props are there to really support your body so that you don't have to engage any muscles to keep your body in any kind of pose. And this way, it allows for deeper access into your connective tissue and into your joints, which are the focus areas of Yin Yoga. So well done for making it onto your mat. And we're going to start today with a child's pose. So you can bring your knees as wide as your mats, maybe bring your toes together and use your pillows, whatever props you have, bring them in between your legs. So if you're using bed pillows, you can lay one on top of the other. And sometimes you might need to pop another block or something underneath the pillows to raise your prop up. So I'll show you when we get there. Tuck your chin towards your chest and slowly roll your spine forward and rest your right cheek on your props. So for this child's pose, you can keep a soft bend in your elbows, maybe allow your elbows to rest under your shoulders or just behind your shoulders. And if you notice that your hips are quite a lot higher than your heels, you could do one of 2 things. You can either pop more blocks underneath your head, or you can take your blanket and pop it in between your hips and your seat. So what this does is this closes the gap and it helps to allow this part, your lower part of your body, your legs, to relax and to soften into the pose. So find your version of child's pose. And once you feel comfortable and set up, perhaps close your eyes or soften your gaze if that's more comfortable. And notice if you can allow your upper body to really be heavy as possible on your props. So that it feels like you are completely supported. And perhaps start to check in for any parts of your body where you might be holding yourself up. If you're resting a cheek on the pillows, you can swap your cheeks now. So rest the left cheek. And as you check in for any parts of your body where you might be holding yourself up, maybe check in around your hips. So notice if you can allow your hips to be a little bit heavier, a little bit softer. Perhaps check in with your upper back. Can you let your shoulder blades separate away from each other? Notice your jaw. Can you allow your tongue to fall away from your palate? Take your time, move very slowly, very mindfully, hands underneath the shoulders, and slowly, slowly use your hands and your arms to press yourself up to sit. Bring your knees together and take a seat here in Caesar pose. Maybe rest hands in the lap, maybe allow chin to tuck towards the chest. If sitting in this way isn't comfortable for you, feel free to either pop a blanket underneath your seat or to come to sit in any way that is comfortable. And take a moment to check in with how you feel as your head is over your heart once more. Check in for any sensations arising either physically or emotionally. Do your best to continue to be the witness to anything that comes up. So try not to dive too deep into anything that's going on. Simply notice. Take your time, swing your legs out to the left or the right, and extend your legs out in front of you. Now, if sitting in this way is not comfortable for you, or you notice you round into your lower back, you might want to take a seat on a block. You could also sit on one of your pillows, or you could sit on a book. This will work well too. And this helps to find your sit bones, helps to tilt your pelvis forward a little as we move to a forward fold. So start by bringing the soles of your feet together for butterfly pose. Now you'll notice that your knees will be quite a bit higher than the floor. So pop either your blocks, whatever props you have, pillows underneath your knees. And I'll give you a little bit deeper explanation to that once we make our way into the pose. Now, if you're using pillows for your forehead, you could fold them in half and stack them on top of your feet. Don't worry too much about how close your heels are to your seat. Focus on the sensation around the hips as you fold forward. So start by tucking your chin towards your chest, round your spine forward, and allow your forehead to rest on your props. So doing your best to bring your props up to meet you rather than forcing your body down towards your props for butterfly pose. And once you've found your version of butterfly pose, notice if you can allow your head to be heavy on your props. Sometimes it's nice to bring the arms to the inside of the legs, just like I am, as a way to find a bit of an opening in your upper back and the space in between your shoulders. So we place the props underneath our knees as a way to support the legs, to allow the muscles in the legs to relax. So even if you remove the props, it might not feel so much like your muscles are engaged, but there has to be some form of muscle engagement in order to keep your legs in that position. So as a way to send the signal to your body that now is the time to soften and relax into the stretch, we place the props underneath the body to support it, to send that signal to your muscles, to your nervous system. And with that being said, if you notice that your props are stopping you from moving deeper into your pose, and very slowly, very mindfully shift them. So keep the support, but maybe move them. And continue to follow the 3 general principles of Yin Yoga to find your pose, to hold your pose, and to stay in stillness. A gentle reminder here to steer clear of any form of pain or twinging or numbness. And if you do notice these sensations, very slowly, very mindfully, do less of the pose. Take your time to bring your hands onto your mat. Walk your hands towards yourself and very slowly come all the way up to sit. Stack one vertebra on top of the other. Your head comes up last. Take a moment here before you move to simply notice any sensations at all in your body. Perhaps sensations of tingling or hot or cold. Hands come behind your knees. Gently press your knees closed. Remove any props from your mat. And slowly come to lay down on your back. Try to connect to every single transition in your body. Once you've made it onto your back, do your best to come to stillness as soon as you can. This is what's referred to as a rebound pose in Yin Yoga. And this pose, this time of stillness, it's used to allow your body to absorb your practice. You might notice that in the first few seconds or few minutes of being in your rebound pose, that it might feel like a sensation is going to turn into something uncomfortable or a spasm or something like this. But notice that if you don't react with any physical movement, if you stay in stillness, that eventually that sensation starts to dissolve. And you tend to become flooded with a sense of calm and ease. In your own time, bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet onto your mat. Roll over to any side that is comfortable for you and come to lay on your belly. Prop yourself up onto your forearms, your elbows, for Sphinx pose. So we'll start by supporting the upper body by bringing your bolster or maybe your pillows into the gap in between your arms and your chest. So if you're using bed pillows, I recommend once again folding them in half and popping them in this gap. Check in that your elbows rest on the floor, and ideally you'd like your elbows to be resting underneath your shoulders for a little bit of extra stability. So you could tuck your toes and gently press yourself forward, so you almost kind of press your chest into your bolster. Whatever you choose to do, check in that you feel supported by your props. And start by noticing your lower back, and notice if you feel sensation in your lower back. If you'd like to increase that sensation, you can bring your feet closer together, or to decrease the sensation, bring your feet further away. Now, if your feet are together and you feel nothing at all in your lower back, feel free to maybe bend your knees and allow the soles of your feet to face towards the ceiling. Whichever option you choose, check in that it's an option that will allow you to stay in the pose in stillness. Remembering the 3 principles of Yin: to find your edge, to hold your pose, and to stay in stillness. Bring your awareness to your eyebrow center. And start to send a gentle wave of softness down the center line of your body as you soften your eyebrows. Soften your jaw. Allow your tongue to fall away from your palate. Send that wave of softness down your neck to your chest and all the way down to your navel. Notice if you're holding yourself up around your glutes or your hips. Can you allow your glutes to separate away from each other? Can you find some softness in your pelvic floor? Send a wave of softness from your left hip to your left knee and ankle, and from your right hip to your right knee and ankle. Do your best to stay in stillness. Very slowly, very mindfully, if you bend your knees, lower one leg down at a time first. And take your time to remove your props from under your chest. Come to lay on your belly. Maybe make a pillow with your hands. Rest forehead on the back of your hands. And perhaps allow your heels to flop out to the sides of your mat. As you bring your awareness to your lower back, do your best not to react to any sensations that might be coming up there. With awareness on your lower back, take a deep inhale in through your nose. Breathe deeply into your belly, as deep as is comfortable for you. Maybe notice some compression in your lower back, and when you're ready, long, slow exhale by nose or mouth. Feel free to take one more deep belly breath, just like that. Inhale. And exhale. And give yourself this gift of stillness. Take a moment to grab your blanket and place it at the top of your mat, just like I have done with mine here. Once you've placed it there, reach your right arm overhead and come to lay on your right side. Flex your left hip, bring your left knee in front of you to hip height or higher. As we set up for cat tail twist or cat pulling its tail, bend your right knee and take a hold of the inside of your right foot with your left hand. If you can't take a hold of the foot today, that's okay. You can bend the knee and leave the leg exactly where it lands in the twist. Deep inhale in through your nose, and as you exhale, send your left shoulder back in space. Allow your head to come off your arm. Rest the back of your head on your blanket. So if you need some extra support for your head with your blanket, you can always scrunch it up and pop it underneath your head. Can you allow your right foot to be heavy? Can you allow your left shoulder to relax? If you're noticing discomfort in your lower back, bring your left knee, the front leg, a little bit closer to your chest, a little bit higher up. Notice if you can let your belly be a bit softer. And if you can soften your pelvic floor. And mentally scan your body from the top of your head down to your toes. And notice anywhere that you might feel a little bit of tension or tightness. And once you come across a space where you might feel some tense or tightness, send your breath into that space. So pause in that space and breathe deeply, allowing your breath to soften your body. Nothing for you to do or achieve. And in your own time, leave your body exactly as it is. Let go of your back foot. Allow your foot to land wherever it lands and rest your left arm behind you. Maybe your left hand rests on the floor. Simply allow your body to be wherever it lands. And very slowly, very mindfully start to straighten your legs and make your way to lay on your back. Perhaps straighten out your blanket so that you've got some support for your head, and extend your legs one at a time. Rest your arms anywhere you can forget about them. And simply notice. So there's no need to judge or analyze your body. Try your best to notice any sensations. So sometimes after cat tail twist, you might notice one leg feels longer than the other. You might notice one side of your lower back feels slightly different. Just using this moment to build up your internal awareness. And if you find that your mind has wandered off your mat, bring your awareness back to your breath. Take your time to raise your left arm overhead. And this time, come to lay on your left side, legs extended. Check in that you have your blanket for support. Flex your right hip, bring right knee in front of you at hip height or higher. And bend your left knee. Take a hold of the inside of your left foot with your right hand. You might notice on one side you can grab your foot, on the other you can't. This is natural. So don't worry too much if you can't grab the foot on the one side. And deep inhale in through your nose. As you exhale, send your right shoulder back in space. Your head comes off your arm. Send your gaze towards the ceiling. And once again, if you need some extra support for the back of your head, then use your blanket to support your head. Allow left arm to rest anywhere it lands. And notice if you can let your left leg be heavy. Your right shoulder heavy. Soften your jaw. Soften your belly. And soften your pelvic floor. Cat-tail twist is a great pose to use for relieving tension from your spine. This tension that's usually built up from hours and days and weeks spent standing or sitting, and gravity taking its toll on your spine. So as you twist your spine, You start to gently squeeze out any leftover tension. And when releasing, hopefully feeling a little bit lighter, a little bit fluffier, a little bit more mobile in the spine. This part of your body that supports and holds up the rest of your body. So perhaps take a moment now to visualize a sponge, heavy and filled with water. And just as you twist and you wring out your spine, wring out the sponge. And notice how the water, just like the tension in your spine, slowly releases. Leave your body as it is and slowly let go of the back foot. Allow right arm to rest behind you. Allow your left foot and leg to be wherever it lands. And visualize that sponge coming back to its original shape. Looking and feeling light and fluffy. And very slowly, very mindfully start to straighten one leg at a time and make your way to lay on your back. Remove your blanket from your mat. Extend your legs and take up the full length and the full width of your mat. And simply take a moment here to notice your body, notice how it feels. No need to dive deep into anything, simply notice. And in your own time, bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet onto your mat. And grab one of your props. So either one of your books, your Tupperwares, you could also use pillows for this. Grab your props, lift your hips, and place your prop, whichever one you're using. A book would probably work best for this, underneath your lower back. So this prop is here to help you to keep your legs up as we raise the legs up towards the ceiling. So try this now, raise your legs up. And if you notice that even with the prop underneath your lower back that you still find it challenging to keep your legs up in this way, then simply bring your feet down, shift the prop further down towards the bottom edge of your mat and raise your legs up again. So find a spot that works best for you, one that is comfortable enough for you to be able to keep your legs up. And feel free to bring your hands behind your knees to give yourself some extra support. Having your legs up in this way is said to be a very calming pose, as you use gravity to send your blood flow in the opposite direction to what it's used to. So your heart doesn't have to work as hard to pump blood through your body. It's also a great pose to use to bring your spine back to its own anatomical zero, its own neutral. And if you find that you struggle with things like swollen ankles or retention of water in your legs, this is also a lovely way to bring circulation back to your legs. In your own time, bend one knee at a time and allow your knees to hover above your chest. So no need to hold on to your legs or do anything here. Simply let your legs be. So you might notice that your hips start to open and your knees flop out to the sides. Try to let them relax, let them be wherever they are, just for a moment. And then very slowly, very mindfully, place one foot down at a time onto the floor, onto your mat. Lift your hips, remove your prop from below your back. Lower down very slowly, very mindfully. And take your time to extend one leg at a time as you set up for your final relaxation, your final shavasana. Feel free to place pillows or blanket underneath your knees or to cover yourself with a blanket. Get yourself completely comfortable, completely settled. And start by checking in with your shoulders. Notice if your shoulders feel like they're up in your ears, you might want to hug your shoulder blades under your heart space to get shoulders away from the ears. Notice your neck. If it feels that you're crunching in your neck, maybe tuck your chin towards your chest, find length in the back of your neck. Take up the full length and the full width of your mat. And allow your body to settle. Perhaps soften your gaze or close your eyes if you haven't already. And bring your awareness down to your toes. Visualize a gentle wave of relaxation and softness flow through your toes, through the soles of your feet and your ankles. Allow this wave to wash over your calves and shins. Your knees are heavy. Softening your thighs and your hips. Fingertips curled. Hands heavy. Softening your belly, forearms, your waist and your elbows. Allow the wave to journey through your chest, your shoulders, softening your jaw. Allow your tongue to fall away from your palate. And soften your eyes and the space in between your eyebrows. As you allow that final wave of softness to flow out through the top of your head, your entire body completely relaxed. Slowly, slowly, start to bring awareness back to your breath. Notice how your body breathes itself with no effort from you. Perhaps start to deepen your breath as a way to gently bring yourself back. Maybe find some micro movements that feel good for you right now. You could wiggle your toes or your fingers. You could reach your arms overhead and give yourself a big stretch. And in your own time, bend your knees and bring the soles of your feet onto your mat. Do your best to keep your eyes closed or your gaze soft. And roll over to any side that is comfortable for you. Pause there for a moment. And take your time to use your top hand and press yourself up to sit in any way that is comfortable for you. Doing your best to keep your awareness inside. And for the last time, check in. Check in with your breath and your body and your mind. And notice if anything has shifted or changed for you. Place one hand over the other on your heart space, your spiritual heart space, your chest. And as you bow your head towards your hands, show some gratitude towards yourself for making this time just for you today. Gratitude towards your body for its health and all of its abilities. I thank you for joining me on the mat today. Wishing you a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.